So on today's video we're going to talk about what was planned to be the 10th release on Boss Tuneage but never happened, but kind of did in a way a lot later on, and that's 5 Foot Nothing. So, 5 Foot Nothing from Pickering in Ontario in Canada. I got to know them because I saw a review in Maximum Rock and Roll for their Pretty Nuclear demo tape. And I think it sort of mentioned Descendants' big drill car. And to be honest with you, in the sort of the early to summer of 1992, I was Descendants, absolutely Descendants and all mad. Really looking at buying everything that was on Cruise Records, and I even for a while used to get Descendants t-shirts bulk from them over in the States because no one was selling their t-shirts in the UK. So I used to get, do big mail orders and get them shipped over to America and take orders in advance and things like that. So I was kind of like Kings Road's merch is now 30 years earlier. But yeah, didn't follow up much on that. Should have perhaps carried on that route and not worried too much about the records at the time. But so anyway, 5 Foot Nothing, any band that sounded like Descendants or Big Drill Car when it was mentioned in Maximum Rock and Roll, I was sending off over to try and get hold of the demo. And they sent me their demo, and I remember they included sort of like a little letter with it and stuff. And I've got a feeling the band had already split up by that time. But here's our tape. I played this tape to death. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was heavily influenced by Descendants and Big Drill Car. The production was sounding like those Cruise Records were as well. But I used to have, I'd just passed my test. I was in my Capri with my old cassette player, and that used to just be on constant, and I just loved it. I love this band, I want to do a record by them. Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of that you could say that was potentially commercial suicide, an unknown band from Canada, and you wanted to put their record out after they'd split up. So, this shows my naivety, but it was all about, what bands I liked and stuff like that. So anyway, I wrote back to them and they said, "Are you sure?" kind of thing. But they sent me like their DAT tapes, loads of photos, front cover and stuff like that. Obviously with them already being split up, it was kind of like, I think I said to them sort of like that the active bands on the label would obviously take preference, but as soon as I had some spare time and money, I'll put it out. I think I was buoyed by the whole potential of moving to Plastic Head, been talking to them about cash advances and stuff. I mentioned that on the Soaphead Exit Condition video, if you've not seen that one. Yeah. And so I thought, why the hell not? And and so the DAT tape and photos kind of sat there in my office for many years, and we never got round to doing it at the time. So obviously fast forward to 1999, I've decided after sort of like a 4 or 5 year break to restart doing the label again. One of the important things I wanted to do was get back in contact with everyone who kind of waited for me. So I also contacted them about putting a track on a second compilation album that I wanted to do. Now this was started to be an idea before Floor 81 had actually been pressed, so I hadn't learned my lesson. But this time I wanted to do one side of North American bands, US and Canadian bands, and one side of UK bands who I was doing stuff with. So yeah, so I actually got DAT tapes and everything, but it never happened. I mean, you know, I got an okay from, I think it was Sam I Am were going to be on there, Mr. T Experience, and then other bands like Porcelain Boys, 5 Foot Nothing, etc, etc. And so and then the UK bands were going to be kind of like Ran, Shut Down, Google Patrol, you know, Exit Condition, all the bands that I was kind of doing stuff with at the time, but that never materialised. I think that everything that went on, it was always like these, you know, 5 Foot Nothing and this compilation album were always getting pushed to the back of the queue as something else kind of reared its head, like the Ran album, for example, and which I'll talk about soon on another video. And so, yeah, the poor buggers, they kind of, you know, just waited and waited and waited for me. And then obviously, come 1994, when I started working at Earache, I think like I mentioned on the shutdown thing, that the whole kind of thing was fizzling out, plus with having no cash to kind of do stuff. So I was really keen that when I started back in 1999, all these people who'd been messed about with me would be, you know, sorted out. And I didn't want to have like a bad reputation when I started off with like, oh, he never did this or he never did that. And I really wanted to kind of, you know, catch up with everyone that I'd kind of promised in the first wave of Boss Tuneage that I would do something, that I would actually be true to my word. So obviously we decided not to do a vinyl LP, but we decided to do a CD of it. Commercial Suicide releasing an unknown band's demo tape from, you know, a decade previously on CD. Commercial Suicide? Probably, but I didn't care. I just wanted to see it out there, and you know, so we did. I managed to track down the band, and they found some sort of rehearsal songs as well to add to the thing. And so yeah, so we did sort of like a 16-track CD version of Pretty Nuclear, and that came out quite early on in 2000. Did it sell well? No. But then I didn't actually. That, in a way, that wasn't the point. And you know, we sent out promos and we traded out a lot of these, you know, on the back of, you know, total like early 90s Canadian band in a Descendants all vein and stuff. And it was just, I was just really pleased that I'd eventually been true to my word, even if it had taken me, you know, like a decade to do that. Quite annoyingly, when I sort of looked on the internet and stuff, there is actually some YouTube footage, not footage, but there's some live recordings from about 1990 of the band, which had we had access to them, then I'd have put that on the CD as well, because they're not too bad, you know, they're via desk recordings, but they're quite good. But yeah, if you are Descendants and all mad, and love that kind of stuff and a bit of Big Drill Car in there, then you know, I just loved that demo, and I was so chuffed that we finally got it out eventually. That's it for this time. I'll see you on the next one.